We have so much amazing stuff from the FOSS world made by amazing volunteers that are trying to solve useful problems that real people actually have. But every so often, a developer realizes, wait, I have free will. I can just make something. It doesn't have to be useful. It doesn't have to make sense. I just can. And today is that day. So there is a very popular 2D physics library known as Box2D. This is used by many game engines like Unity and various other things, and it is a really cool project. If you want to add physics into your game, say you're, I don't know, making a 2D platformer, gravity is important, it's one of these things you might want to be looking at. However, what if you built a Wayland compositor around Box2D? What if you applied the physics of Box2D onto a compositor? Should you? No. But no one's going to stop you, so, why not? Here it is. This is FWM. This is a Wayland compositor written in C, where windows are physical objects, Box2D physics, a 10 desktop world with parallax and hyperlane style tiling. There is also a legacy X11 version if you want to use it on X11, but we're going to be talking about the Wayland version. Now, unless I missed something, it is currently not actually packaged on any distros. There is a build script for it on Arch Linux. It is just run install. It installs all the packages, all the dependencies for you. It installs it as a session, so if you want to open it up from your display manager, does all that for you, and you're pretty much good to go. Now, you're probably asking, what does it mean to have 2D physics in a Linux desktop? Well, there's only one way to find out. Welcome to FWM. Now, we have a black screen, doesn't really matter. We could set a wallpaper if we wanted to, doesn't really matter. We also have a terminal window. You can't read the terminal window, but the capture card thinks I'm running at 4K. I'm not. The contents of the window don't actually matter. We have a window. The window, it looks like a window, okay? Fair enough. We can do like a resize, do all the normal stuff you can do in a regular compositor. Let us go and move the window. I let it go and it's still moving. Let's do that with a bit more momentum. Actually, let's throw it at the top of the screen. So, they keep moving after you let them go. But the window isn't moving anymore. And that's because we've got it set to 0 gravity. So let us go and change that. If I press Super G, that changes the gravity modifier. Now if we throw it, the window bounces back down. But if we let it go in the center of the screen as well, it will also come down because, well, there's gravity affecting the window. So of course the window is going to fall. Like, you know, that's how gravity works. We can modify the gravity again. Now, it's a bit slower. We have gravity here, but, you know, over time, it might speed up as well, you know, because it's going to increase the amount of momentum you have, the amount of speed you have. There's not enough space to really develop that much velocity, though, so it's kind of hard to tell without going to some of, like, the higher gravity settings that a window is actually moving faster. Of course, you might have also noticed that there are wobbly windows as well. This is not related to Box2D or the gravity or anything like that. This is just, wobbly windows are cool, and wobbly windows are enabled by default. And it kind of fits with what we're doing here anyway, so, you know, you might as well have some wobbly windows, because who doesn't love wobbly windows? Now, obviously, throwing one window around, it's fun, all that's great. But the real fun is when we spawn another one. Let's drop this one on the other window. They actually affect each other. However, let's do something else. Let's go and bump the window on the right with this window. I went a bit fast there, so it didn't work. So, as always, with any sort of physics, if you ever, like, done any game development or anything like that, moving too fast will break the physics. So, you know, that definitely can happen. It is going to behave a little bit differently on different gravity settings as well, so that is something you have to play around with. But you can kind of, like, you know, bounce the window around the screen, throw each other around, and all this good stuff. But what if I were to go and do, well, it actually might happen by itself. What if I were to go and do something like this? The window's gone now. Where'd the window go? Well, if I press Super H and Super L, that's on the wrong keyboard. On this keyboard, we can control where the camera is. Oh yeah, these are the windows I had open last time. I guess they stayed open between my my different runs. Yeah, we'll close that Firefox window. We'll get to Firefox a little bit later. So we can control where in this screen we are. It's not an infinite scrolling plane. So you might have noticed over here, there is an edge here. This is the start of desktop 1. So what we have here is 10 virtual desktops controlled with Super 1, Super 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. But there is no hard limit between those different desktops. So we can exist in the middle of a desktop transition. A window can exist in the middle of a desktop transition. This didn't also need to be here, but it does add to the fun where you can just like throw things around and they can like just continue like moving outside your screen. Also, because you can move directly between each of the workspaces, if we do a super shift and then a number while holding one of the windows, we can move that window onto a different desktop. That is an option. It does cause it to jiggle a little bit more than it probably should, but you can do that as well. So do keep that in mind. Yeah. Whilst we're talking about moving things around, there is another way to control the camera. If we take a window and then move to the edge of a workspace, it is going to move the window over to the next workspace. So if you prefer doing things in a mouse-controlled way, that is also an option we can take. Now, there are some other fun things we can do. Let's say I want to have this window up here, but I want to have gravity enabled. Let's say I want to have the fastest gravity, so other windows will fall, but I don't want this one specifically to fall. What we can do with that is press Super and P, and that pins the window where it currently is. But it is pinned as a solid object still. So if I were to do something like this, the window still bounces off of it, even though the other window is stuck where it is. So I can place the window up here, and it's totally fine. I can bounce it, I can do whatever I want to do, and that window is just not going to move. Now, again, you might be noticing some of the physics problems here, and physics are disabled on the object you're dragging when you are dragging it. It affects other objects if they are, you know, allowed to move, but physics are not affecting specifically the object you're holding. This is to avoid the window you're dragging around massively glitching out. There are, yeah, you don't want that to happen. Also, we do have the option of disabling collision on an object as well. If I press Super N, now it just acts as a regular window, and, you know, it's not going to hit the pinned window. It's not going to hit the window on the ground here. Actually, sorry, that's the wrong window. This one, not going to hit the window on the ground here. So you might want to take a pinned window and also make it so collision doesn't affect it, and then we can throw windows around, and basically it just ignores that it's there. So for like an overlay or something like that, that might be useful to have. Now let me show you something fun. So the window is upright, but who says it needs to? Who says the windows need to be like this? Why can't they rotate? It's a 2D physics object. There's no reason why it can't rotate. Now, should it rotate? Should it be able to do this right here? No. Is there any reason why I shouldn't be able to, though? No. No, I can. Now, of course, this is going to interact with other objects as well. So if I were to do something like this, the momentum is carried onto the other object as well. And if there's other windows over here, they probably got pushed as well. That is done by pressing Super R on the window, and that unlocks the rotation. Now, with some applications, you can still use them when they're upside down like this, and when they're like rotating and all this good stuff. Other applications, not necessarily the case. Kind of depends on what you're dealing with. For example, this has a built-in launcher on Super Space. Let us go and open up Firefox, and well, if I was to go onto YouTube, play this video right here. I'm going to mute the audio because, you know, we can't play that one. But if I were to rotate, spin me around, the video does break when it is spinning. Now, sometimes it does start to play again. Not right now, but sometimes. This is a problem with trying to do weird things like this. Certain applications are going to break. And of course, there are going to be these weird physics collisions as well. If I spawn multiple windows here, you know, when you start clipping out of the screen, other things like that, windows will start behaving strangely and, like, vibrating in a way that, if you've ever dealt with 2D physics, or 3D physics for that matter, you would know this was bound to be happening. You can probably mess with the engine a bit and try to deal with problems like this, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, if you can drag a window really fast, you're eventually going to be able to break the collision system. It's just the way collisions work. So far, I've been running this mostly as it is configured out of the box. Let us go into our terminal. Let us go and pin the window just so it doesn't bounce around constantly. And let's go into the .config directory, FWM, and inside of this, let's use Vim, there is a file called config.toml. We can configure various things in the project. Now, of course, a lot of the normal things like where does the wallpaper come from and the hotkeys and other things like that. You want it to be in a tiling mode. There is a tiling mode as well. I don't use it. It's not my thing for what we're doing here. I like tiling normally, just not for this. However, if we go to the top, we can configure how the gravity functions. All of these properties are entirely controllable by you as the user. This, very cool. And it also has some examples here of what different kinds of gravity are going to feel like. However, another fun thing you can do is you can define subtypes of the gravity. So, for example, this right here is for moon gravity. If I save the file and I do Super Shift R, that reloads the gravity. This is going to have a different kind of gravity on desktops 3 and 4. So let's go to 1. Let's spawn this window here. It's going to do all of this good stuff here. Okay, let's go to desktop 4 and let's spawn a window. The gravity is different. And obviously the momentum is carried differently as well because now it is more like we are on the moon. If you want to have different gravity, and this creates fun things, so you can take this window, and let's say it's on Workspace 3 here, if you were then to drag it between this desktop with moon gravity, and then throw it onto another desktop with different, oh, this window's in the way, throw it onto a different desktop with different gravity, then that gravity is going to affect it differently when it gets over to that desktop. So it actually modifies it just entirely invisibly between the desktops. Like most window managers, desktop environments, whatever it is you want to be using, this does have window rules. However, the window rules can also be used as a way to control the gravity. So you can apply no collide to certain windows like MPV, for example. You can have different amounts of mass or different amounts of gravity on different applications on your desktop. You can obviously have things always spawn on certain desktops. So there are these like core regular window manager things here. Like this environment is a joke, but it's a joke that's sort of intended to be useful for normal things as well. Yes, there is gravity. Yes, windows have mass. Yes, you can control the friction. But at the same time, it's also a normal environment that has tiling and window rules and all this good stuff to make it, like, legitimately actually useful with a bunch of stupid things attached to it as well. Earlier I mentioned wobbly windows, and if you want to get rid of them, you can. Right now it is set to 1.0. That is the jelly effect. That is the wobbly window effect. If we go and save that, and let's grab one of these windows after a reload, it didn't apply it. Did I not save it? Did I not reload? Let me see. One of the things I forgot to do. Either way, there we go. It is now gone. So this is the way I typically prefer things. I don't really like my windows to wobble. I know it's cool, but, you know, I'm not a fan. But there are other things here as well. So what squash is when I drop a window onto another window, you notice it like move when that happens. If you want to disable that, you can change the squash effect. The spin here basically changes how strong the spin of the windows are. Obviously, raising this above 1.0 is well, let's set it to 4.0. Save, and we reload, and let's grab this window here, make it spin, and let's put over here. It doesn't seem to be spinning it. Oh, no, it just spins. Okay, it keeps the momentum more when you spin it. I see, that's what it does. Yeah. And also, there is camera shake as well. If I had a wallpaper, you'd see this more, but now, if we go and save this, reload it again, Super Shift R, and then we drop a window, it causes everything to shake. If you had a wallpaper there, the wallpaper would be shaking as well, and obviously, the heavier an object is, the more it's going to shake. So you can play with all those effects, you can change them to the level you want them to be, and there are various other little things you can mess with as well. I have absolutely no doubt there are a bunch of random little bugs where if I was to use this more and more and more and more, I would probably come across them. Is this the kind of thing I would want to daily drive? No, absolutely not. Is this the kind of thing I would expect to see on like a subreddit like Unix porn? And then someone be like, hey, look at this cool thing. My windows can like gravity and physics and all that. And then no one to actually use the environment like that in a real setting? Absolutely, yes. And if you want to do that, do it, because it's a cool little project, and I like things like this to exist, and I want to encourage more people to make them. If you have any other really dumb environments you want to tell me about, really dumb environments you want me to check out, notably if they have some weird feature that doesn't even make any sense to be a feature, either make it, or if you do make it, let me know about it, because I would love to know, I would love to talk about it. One thing is, when it comes to documentation, the documentation basically is the comments in the config file. There is some documentation on the GitHub, but most of the documentation is going to be how it's explained in the comments here. So do keep that in mind. It is something you're going to have to like read a bit about. There's probably not that much documentation out there on how to use this because this hasn't really existed for that long, but you should be able to work it out. And if you work out something fun that maybe I missed, let me know about it. So this is cool, and if you think it's cool, let me know. If you hate it, let me know as well. Let me know your thoughts on this, and let me know if you've tried it out, or if you're gonna try it out, I'd love to know. So if you liked the video, go like the video. If you really liked the video, yeah, actually wait, if you go subscribe as well, and hype the video, that all stuff. If you really liked the video, and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon, subscribe, Daily Bearer Pay, linked in the description down below. That's gonna be it for me, and physics.